So I am back, and I'm going to continue my grift of shamelessly trolling everyone that likes Spider-Man No Way Home by making another video about Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm really not trolling though. I kind of wanted to follow up on my last video because I got a comment that said, "Oh, absolute gabagool thrognibus," left me a comment that said the rant that I'm doing is kind of ridiculous since I haven't really seen the movie. I mean, I responded. I haven't heard anything back, but I have tried to watch the movie. It's just kind of boring. It's on YouTube. The whole thing is pretty much out there for anybody to see. At least all the major parts. I mean, I guess there are a few minutes, maybe 15 to 20. Um, but I've tried to sit down and watch it, and it just has no momentum to me. It has no propulsion. It has no reason to exist. I haven't been able to really just sit down and focus on it. It seems like the type of movie you would watch while you're doing something else, or while you're, I don't know, finishing up chores, or folding clothes, or reading for homework assignments or something. Just it plays in the background, and occasionally you hear something and you kind of poke your head up to see what's going on with it, but it hasn't really captured my attention very strongly. Um, for context, or I guess to kind of give you an idea of what I've seen, I tried to sit down and watch Alfred Molina watching Peter Parker and then attacking him on the bridge. I tried to watch whatever was going on with Peter and Green Goblin. I don't want to spoil it, but their confrontation towards the end of the film. And then I've also seen where, I guess this isn't really a spoiler because it's everywhere now, where all the Spider-Men team up and battle the Sinister Five. And all of it lacks energy. All of it lacks visual flair, any kind of distinction between the movements of each character, each of the Spider-Men interacting with each of the villains. Everything, especially in the climax, feels like it was chopped together. I've seen online a few places that Tobey Maguire kind of came in towards the end because they couldn't get his contract straight, so his scenes were filmed separately, and then they kind of spliced it in with everything they already got done with Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. And you can definitely tell there was some movie magic at work towards the end because all of the villains felt siloed off from all the heroes, and all of the heroes were kind of in their own world, or kind of in that uncanny Rise of the Planet of the Apes valley when they interacted with each other or looked at each other but weren't touching or weren't directly interacting. It seems like maybe they had a tennis ball or something that they had to look at to try to sync up eye lines. Uh, but anyway, I was going to jump over to Spider-Man 3 today because I talked about Spider-Man 2 last time. But the comment about watching the movie and the comment about saying that this is the death of film, um, and that otherwise I'm just an old man screaming at clouds kind of made me think about another Disney movie, which is Up, and the emotional connection you get to the characters within that Pixar film Up in those first few minutes. I'm not going to compare Spider-Man No Way Home to Up because that's just a waste of time. And I mean, Up is a classic film, one of the greatest animated films of all time. Spider-Man No Way Home, even the most charitable reviews have it said it's the best Spider-Man movie of all time. So it's not really a fair comparison. I did want to kind of dive into films that are better than Spider-Man No Way Home, but I don't want to get into corny conversations about The Godfather 2 being better or the original Star Wars film being better. Of course, there are other films better than No Way Home, so I wouldn't pick the greatest films in all of cinema to go up against Spider-Man No Way Home. But I did just kind of sit down real quickly and go through the last 10 years of movies and think about what movies did something similar or had elements that were successful where I felt like Spider-Man No Way Home wasn't, or got my attention where Spider-Man No Way Home didn't. Um, I mean, quickly, Mother, Split, The Equalizer, Vacation with Ed Helms, Burnt, Focus, Lucy, Cabin in the Woods, 10 Cloverfield Lane, The Accountant, uh, what else? Chronicle, Looper, John Carter, um, Those movies are all kind of honorable mention. Place Beyond the Pines, especially, is one I forgot to say just now. But when we talk about stakes, we talk about gravity, a death meaning something in the context of a film. Place Beyond the Pines with Bradley Cooper and Ryan Gosling really definitely shows that a death can have meaning within a film without being meta or without referencing characters or scenarios outside of the universe of that individual film. I won't spoil that because it's a great movie. You should definitely see it if you haven't seen it already. Um, and I didn't want to go outside of the mainstream. I like Marvel movies. I like most of them well enough. Shang-Chi was pretty good until the end of the movie. Then it became unwatchable. That last third um, was a disaster. And it was a visual mess. I couldn't even conceive or see what was happening in the movie. I couldn't even parse it out. It was too dark. Too many things going on. I couldn't understand the motivations. I thought Black Widow was great, much better than I thought it would be. And the early reviews of Black Widow made me think it was um, pretty bad. But it's actually something I've seen two times, and I really normally don't even watch Marvel movies more than like a half a time or one ish times. But Upgrade, I thought that was a great movie. Um, Upgrade was just a great action movie, unexpected, great storyline, interesting character dynamics, almost kind of like that Venom Eddie Brock symbiote relationship. Neighbors, that the movie with Seth Rogen and Zac Efron, that had a good kind of an interesting conflict, great comedy, created some interesting sympathy between Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne, and then the frat brothers that kind of move in, and it has an interesting conflict. Game Night with Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. That was a great movie too. Funny, great use of humor, great use of character development, and kind of a shifting, twisting plot that has multiple different setups and payoffs that kind of create more comedy and raise up the tension. Don't Breathe, another good example of raising up the tension. Riddick. Riddick was a good movie from, I want to say it was 2013 or 14, that um, made everything smaller, which is where I thought Spider-Man No Way Home was going to go. Whereas Chronicles of Riddick was this big franchise, Lord of the Rings, epic sci-fi, Star Wars space opera thing. Riddick was really small, an intense thriller, kind of a Ten Little Indians, serial killer knockoff slasher movie. It was really good. Riddick was a great movie. I would say Vin Diesel's best movie. Doctor Sleep, I think, is another good example of continuing a franchise in an unexpected way, giving the fans what they want, creating something general audiences would like as well, but sprinkling in that nostalgia and those references in a way that was engaging to me, much more engaging than No Way Home. Good Boys, the comedy film, I thought it was really funny. I thought that was just a unique and heartfelt movie that had stakes, not necessarily violent, but just a good, funny, just a wholesome comedy, a wholesome rated R comedy, if you can believe that oxymoron. Warrior with Tom Hardy. Thought that was really good. Joel Edgerton. Thought that was a great film as well. Just created a fun conflict and a fun relationship between the two brothers. Again, creating a believable relationship within the context of the movie between two people. Possessor by the younger Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's son. Thought that was a great horror movie. Great visual style, really intriguing sci-fi elements, something that challenged people. You should definitely check it out. I think I would close with that one. I think if you haven't seen it before, you definitely should view it. The other ones I mentioned, Riddick, Doctor Sleep, Good Boys, Don't Breathe, Game Night, Warrior, and especially Booksmart. Check out Booksmart. I feel like it does the same thing that's trying to be done here, with more energy, more excitement, more enthusiasm, more of a youthful energy, less of that cynical, franchisey aftertaste. And hey, if you disagree with me, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what movies you like to watch, and I'll come back with more shameless attempts at getting attention and trolling Marvel fans. So, have a nice night. Take care of yourself, and that's it. Bye.